Hi, Paul. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're all happy over here. So we're just starting with a basic drawing, just like we did the last time. So go ahead and get a pencil. I do not think you guys need a grid for this. We've discussed it. So yeah, you're going to, and notice that this flower is a little bit off to the left. Oh, there's probably one more line I want to show you. And that's the kind of shift.
Oh, in the background.
From light to dark, just so that you're kind of paying attention to it. And I guess technically there's kind of a medium that ends here. Can you see it as like kind of dark medium to light? So it's good to just note that when you're doing this. And then so notice I'm kind of doing like this outline before I get into any of the petals. You're going to want to do the petals, pull yourself back, because if you do them now, you're going to mess up. By the way, what direction is the light coming from? Actually, that's a good question.
From the left?
Yeah.
Top left.
Yep. Good job. Oh, so well trained.
Yeah.
You guys are great. So we're just going to start like that simply. And I was looking at this, trying to figure out what the colors were. So while you're doing it, I'm still a little bit like, but I realize this is a great opportunity to talk about red. So we are going to explore with red today.
Yeah, that was trying to figure out how we make that pink.
We will talk about it. I have the answer for you. Don't tell her, Diana. All right. And then once you get this in, let me get my pastel. Now you're going to be, because now, so these are all little triangles really, except for this one. It's more like kind of a little box. But notice the rest are triangles. So you're not making your petals too extreme. This needs to come out. I know it seems so crazy, but it will help you in the end not get things too big and out of joint. That's the thing that's really hard about flowers. So it's easy to get them out of joint. And once you've got that, we'll use the blue here to try and get in, but then we can start doing the inner petals. Notice the kind of, and we can also start to get some of the darks, mediums, and lights. So if I just follow this here, I'll take a picture so you can see it. It's easier to see it. The blue is a little bit hard to see, so let me photograph that so you can see it clearly. And that kind of connects up here, right? And now this kind of, you can see where these little triangles connect. Oops. Up here, and then I think this one. This one is pretty easy to get in the wrong place. So let's see, it should really be lined up with what's happening here. So there's the big one. Now I see I have to move my triangle over a little bit, right? Really, what's nice about tulips is they are just kind of these intersecting triangles upon, oh, yep. So here's where I went wrong. So this comes like this. And that, there we go, comes out more like that. So if you have to reshape this guy afterwards, don't worry about it, just do it. Let's go ahead and do it. And then once I get in here, yeah, and so we'll talk about color mixing and how you get this kind of color. And also we'll have a conversation about what the base is. Is the base paint? What is the base color? I was toying around with a couple of different things. I think it could be a couple of different things. There you go. But go ahead and show me your drawing first.
I'm priming a canvas, so I don't have one.
I trust you to follow along. I've realized that one of the things that's happened as we're bringing more people in is that people are struggling to follow. For some people, particularly if they're new, this is all new to them. It's like we go fast, we cover a lot of ground. So we've been thinking, Marie and I have been thinking and talking about that in terms of how to slow down, but also how to let people know, oh, and I can erase this once I get.
Yeah, but you know, if you go too slow,
we can't slow down. We can't slow down, right? Yeah, no,
you can't, because people can go back to the recording.
That's my point. Yes, that's where we got to too. Exactly, Diana, is we were like, we want people to be encouraged to do this, but we also want them to recognize that if they go too fast, it's better to watch. That is not true of anybody here. You guys have been working for a while and you're pretty used to the pacing, but it was interesting. I was like, oh yeah, I have to remind people. A couple of the India Bureau people I noticed have really struggled to follow. And finally, I realized they just weren't fast enough, right, to pick up what was going on, which is normal because a lot of people are beginners. So anyway, I don't know why I said that, but anyway, it's not really relevant to anyone here.
Are you calling the Indian people slow?
No, there's just one or two in the bureau who have been struggling, and finally I figured out why. Absolutely not. Some of them are super fast. Okay, so let's look at this picture for a second. I'll call it up. One, two. Lisa, there's a dark area, there's a light area and a dark area here you're missing. See this shape here, Lisa B? This shape here has a light area that comes in and a dark area. It's here and here. You don't have that showing at all. So this flower is like a petal opening. Then there's this dark flower. And then here is a light petal. So you're missing a petal. You need to bring in your, like that. Okay. And then Lisa B, make sure you've got this really dark area totally spelled out. It kind of looks like a hand. Let's see, Paul. Paul, your drawing is getting better. Good for you. This is attached, Paul. There's no, you have a little opening here.
Yeah, I should. Okay, let me take care of that.
You just draw that line here. And then this comes down. So there's a petal here. There's a petal here. So you're also, Paul, missing, yeah, you're missing this petal here.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
So go ahead and add that in. Good job. Good job, you guys. It's not too wide, Lisa B, believe it or not. It feels wide because we're really just focusing on this one flower. Nice work, everybody. Drawing getting better. I'm pleased. And when we look at this picture, we see, what do you see here? Definitely see pink, right? What else? What other colors do we see?
Purple.
Yep, there's purple.
Blue.
Anybody see a little yellow?
Yeah, up in the sky. Well, not the sky, but up in
Yeah.
And a tiny bit of green
Yeah,
Yeah, green.
and tiny bits of green.
and
All
some
right.
gray.
So the question becomes, so we're going to be mixing, we're going to be creating pink and purple. But our first question is, what should we're going to do this as a single color underpainting. What just happened there? So the question is, what color should our underpainting be?
Green.
Anybody have thoughts? That's exactly what I thought.
No,
Green.
That's what
Yeah.
I've done.
Yellow?
Yeah, green. No, I think we should do
This is
green.
my priming.
Oh,
Excellent.
okay.
Good job. Excellent. Why green?
Because pink is close to red and green is the
Is the yes.
complementary.
Excellent. Excellent. So, yep, I think we're going to try green. And we're not only going to try green, we're going to try a green that's a little on the cool side. Or actually, I can't decide.
Like a phthalo green?
I was thinking Viridian. Thinking Viridian, maybe with a touch of yellow. So we're going to start this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start this. I wonder if I can just tape my, yes, I totally can. Here, let's tape my phone up so we can see it. Ha. Up, come back you. Okay, so we can kind of look at it. Oh, I think I'm covering something. Here. Probably not how the makers of the smartphone were intending this phone to be used, but what the heck. Right? I need to get a color printer. Okay, here we go.
You don't have a color printer?
I don't. I just use a black and white one because, you know, everything I do is kind of in. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? I should have a color printer. I get all my colors prints done at a little copy shop down the street from my house. I kind of like going there, and I just didn't have time to do it today.
You know, it costs $50 to get a decent.
Yeah. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, here, hold on. Okay, give me 1 second, you guys. I'm going to get my Gorilla tape. Hang on. Or maybe I'll just hold it. I think I can probably just hold it. I can see it. Okay, so let's get some Viridian green. And remember how I had you organize. Oh, here. Viridian green. And let's also add just a touch of yellow. And I'll let you pick the yellow. Give me cadmium yellow. I'm putting cadmium yellow medium here. Move that out of the way. Bring this over. And we're going to cover this whole thing. Keep your colors kind of in the top corner. You can make it go long. There's not many colors in this painting, which is nice. Let's see, I can put this here so we can see everything. And as usual, we're going to start with our darks. I use a big brush. So as usual, I have my paintbrush over here. I dip it in the water, and then to make sure that it doesn't get too wet, I squeeze it with a paper towel. So I want my painting to go on a little bit lighter. And then we're going to start with the darkest areas. So I'm going to start with just the areas in the shadows. And see, I'm kind of using the side of the brush. What's nice is I don't have to get too fancy. Okay, and I'm kind of moving around. So this area is dark. There are little light areas on top. We don't have to worry about those so much right now. There's this area that's dark. And I know it looks a little bit rough, but this is actually okay. All kind of good for the sake of the painting, as we say. And then when we get into the lighter areas, let's add a little bit of yellow. And I'm getting my brush wet again, squeezing it so it's not too wet, but I'm getting it a little wet because it gets dry after a couple of things. When we get into let's add a little yellow. Because even though these are fairly cool colors, I still feel a hint of warmth in the sunlit areas. And I want to kind of have that carry through to the base. So you can see here. And if you feel like your light isn't light enough, you can add more yellow on top. Just go back in with more yellow and blend it in. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we'll put this in here. And then let's take our dark with a little bit more water and do a kind of watery green. See how I'm kind of swirling the brush? Because we've got this kind of swirly, indistinct, kind of curly, curvy background. It's like flowers and stuff. And it's waterier, so you can see that here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow so that it's I need a little bit more, right? So it's kind of more distinct. And this is a little bit waterier. Swirl, swirl, swirl. Yeah, this is what's nice about this, I think everybody's going to be, I'm going to do a different tulip every day, but what's nice about tulips is they've got a lot of structure. And then straight to the yellow. And this is kind of nice because there's a little bit of yellow in the background in this area. So this might help us in our top layers. Oh, there go my drips. There we go. I love these. I love these drips. Not everybody does. So if you're not somebody who likes them, you're totally welcome to blot them out with a napkin, but I think they're pretty neat. And then we're going to put this aside and let it dry and practice some color mixing. Let me take a picture.
I'm just worried, Leia, that we're painting over the sketching.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, okay.
This isn't a sketch, it's a painting. You're not supposed to see the sketch. It's just there to help you paint. Okay, let me take a picture of this. What were you thinking?
Maybe you could put like an extra coat layer, but yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, no, you don't really want to see the pencil marks. We don't really want to, in acrylic painting and oil painting, we don't really want to see our pencil marks. And this will come down here where it'll dry. And over here, come back up here. So take a minute to get your painting to that level. I am going to put some color. I'm going to look and see. I try, as I said, not to, as I tell you guys often, I try hard not to plan too much in advance because I want you to see my thinking process as I'm going through this. I definitely, as I almost always do, put some ultramarine blue on my palette. Don't worry about this. You work on your painting. I'm just talking through as I'm doing it. We're going to put 2 reds down, quinacridone red or rose and cadmium red.
What was the first red you said?
Quinacridone. It's also known as permanent red or rose. Quinacridone red or
I don't have that.
permanent red. Do you have alizarin crimson? You don't have permanent. You don't have permanent red.
No,
You
I have.
You're gonna want quinacridone if you've got it. It's like the sort of pure cool white. I'm
What
just
about
looking.
vermilion? Vermilion or alizarin crimson?
Alizarin crimson is going to be a better choice. For sure. Vermilion is too. Let me look, and I'm going to look at this picture again.
Orangey, right?
It's too, yeah, vermilion is too orangey. Exactly. And also I want to see pictures. Don't worry about getting your colors out yet. I want to see your pictures of your all of you, since there's only a couple of you working on this. I want to see your pictures of your underpainting. So show me your green and yellow underpainting first. I'm just looking at the thing to see what else is here. What's up? What else are we gonna need? So I can make a purple, a yellow, definitely white. I'm gonna suggest yellow ochre too. I think at some point this is gonna be useful. And before we get started, we're going to talk about the color wheel, the cool and warm colors of the color wheel. There we go. So let me label these for you. These are yellow ochre. We'll of course also need white. And whenever you've got it done underpainting, send it my way. I will take a picture of our palette for today. Besides white, we definitely need white. Let me grab white before I forget. I'm putting white down too, but I'm gonna put it kind of down here. Anybody enjoying this? I think it's really soothing.
I just really feel like I need a nap after everything today. I'm just
Right.
tired, you know?
Oh my God. Like 4 years tired.
Yeah.
Although I noticed I slept really well last night. And then somebody, which is unusual for me, and so which I just assumed was menopause. And somebody in the morning said, "So who slept well? How'd you sleep last night?" And I was like, God, perhaps better than I have in the last 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I slept really well and then I woke up at 3 and couldn't get up. I'm glad it all came off without incident.
You mean today?
Yeah.
All right. That's a Gorman lady. Wow. She's pretty awesome.
Oh
Although
my
this
God, that was
feels a lot
incredible.
like when Obama was like elected. I'm like, oh, we can do all we have so much work to do. I'm in a very much like, let's just get our dang work done.
Yeah. My tulip looks all the same color.
Yeah, so you need to lighten it if you need. Go
Yeah,
back
I
over
need
with
to
just
go
straight
back.
yellow
Yeah, I need
before
to.
it dries. It can be a little darker, Lisa. If you'll see this one, mine is a bit darker
Yeah, yours
than the.
is. Yeah.
So
need to
it can
get a
be a
little
little
bit-
bit darker because the darks will showcase your lights very nicely. So you can,
Uh-huh.
so unlike watercolor and ink, you can actually go a little bit darker on your bases with acrylic and with oil.
Are we recording?
Yep. All of these are recorded. I don't know if Diana sent it out, but we have I have a new fancy YouTube channel. It looks
I
great.
did not send that out.
I sent it to you.
You did, and I
Oh.
totally forgot.
Oh, so go
will-
ahead and send it out. Anyway, I have a new fancy YouTube channel. I mean, it's the same channel, but I designed it and
not.
logoed it and branded it and organized all of, we have like 83 live class videos
That's awesome.
organized into like 10 different subcategories. So if you want beginning drawing, if you want acrylic painting, if you want watercolor painting, you know, all of that stuff. So they're all everyone will be there, and it's just going to stay there. So we're just going to keep building this file. I might at some point clear it out, but okay. Anybody have anything to show me?
No.
You don't have an underpainting yet? You must have your underpainting, Diana. You're so fast. Come on.
No, I did it differently. I did a solid green background and I'm painting on top of that.
Ah, okay. All right. Okay. All
So
right. I don't mean to rush you. Don't let me rush you. Tell me when you're ready, and we will start. You guys tell me when you're ready by showing me a finished underpainting, and then we'll start color mixing. And we'll talk about colors too. And in fact, I might even make a color wheel on my testing paper. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lisa, that's just fine. It's great. Lisa, one of the things I want you to pay attention to, these brush marks down here.
Yeah.
That's not really what this is. These aren't like leaves, right? Like you
Uh-huh.
make them look like they're leaves. These are swirly little flowers. So me
Okay.
seeing these strokes like this and these ridges of paint when there's really no marks like that, that's
Okay.
going to be problematic. So cover those up.
Okay, I'm gonna
Make a
swirl them out.
make a swirly out pattern. So
Okay.
this is important because paying attention to your mark making is really important. People will see when a mark is there. And my favorite teacher ever was a woman I knew in Armenia named, crap, how can I forget her name? I can see her face. She's such a wonderful human. Anyway, she said to me, Leah, you shouldn't see the marks on the paper unless there's a reason for them to be there. Because the viewer will see it and they will wonder why it's there. So these thick ridges of paint, that is like something you want to avoid unless you're trying to show kind of directionally, right? This is like leaves that are sort of strong, and really this is a very soft background, and probably, Lisa, you're going to want a softer edge.
Oh, okay.
Right? Going from one to the other.
Right.
These are not firm. I mean, you can get rid of that, but if you get rid of it now, it's going to be easier later. So yeah. So that's all part of learning how to use the brush. And I think I am going to do this. Oh, and here's my palette knife.
Oh, you're going to use your knife, huh?
I am, because it's just easier than cleaning every time. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do a little bit of blue. I'm just getting ready, you guys. Right. because we can never get too much of the color wheel. And in fact, while you guys are working, I am going to get some clean water from my brush. So I'll be right back. All right. Let's see. Not bad, Paul. I like your background. Very soft, and I like the transition from dark to light. Very nice. Paul, you're showing some good brush handling. Very
Better
nice.
today, yeah.
Yeah, I notice you're like improving dramatically. I hope you don't mind I say that, but I'm really noticing that your improvement has been really, really, it's just nice to see. It's really cool.
Yeah, because I had a pretty big fallback when we went into acrylic. So
Right. So you have to get, and
Yeah.
you're going to have to again, and then you get to make the decision. Do you want to stay in acrylic or go over to oil when we go to oil? I've decided to stay with acrylic until the middle of February, give people a chance to get used to it before we switch over to oil. And then nobody has to. WinRed, CAD red. Okay. You guys have a moment? Let's take a look. Put your paintings over to the side. Let them dry. Look up here, and if you remember, here's our good old-fashioned color wheel, right, with our primary colors. So we have as the primary colors red, blue, and yellow. However, there are two reds here, right? So how is that possible that there could be kind of two reds on the color wheel? So one of the things that's important to notice about the color wheel, and it is related to the concept of warm and cool. In general, we like to think of warm colors as yellows, reds, and oranges, right? Orange. And cool colors are blues, greens, blues and greens. And maybe purple. Right? Those are cool colors. But here's the really interesting thing. Each color on the color wheel has a cool version and a warm version. So what does that mean? Today, we're going to look at the cool and warm versions of red to make a decision about how to make our pink. So you'll notice that.
Quick question, what's the blue you're using?
Ultramarine blue.
Ultramarine, thank you.
Ultramarine. So these actually, the blue and the, here, I'll take a picture of it so you can see it. So the blue and the yellow are actually both warm. We'll talk about different cool and warm blues and yellows later. We're going to really focus on red. And here's what's interesting. If I mix a little bit of, you'll notice that the cool red is really closer to blue, right, than it is to the yellow. So the cool red is leaning towards blue, which means that when I mix it together, I should get kind of more of a pinky. This red is a little bit more blue in it than it does have yellow in it. You can see it when you put, oops. Here we go. You can see when you put white in it, particularly, what a nice purple that makes, right? This kind of pinky color. So if I were to mix cadmium red with blue, I get a very different color. I get something, I've run out of cadmium here, that looks a little bit more brown. So try it yourself. Try mixing a little bit of cadmium red with ultramarine blue, and then try mixing a little bit of quin red or alizarin crimson or permanent red or rose with blue, and you will see a significant difference. So this is a purple with red, with cadmium red, and this is a purple with ultramarine blue and quin red. So you'll see that if you want, well, anyway, do it and you'll see. Quin red plus blue, cad red plus blue. You should have significantly different colors. One is going to look purple, the other one really isn't. Here. So is anybody seeing it? Are you seeing the difference?
It looks kind of a magenta, the cadmium red and blue.
Yes, it looks more magenta. Well, you're probably using a lot of red and less blue, right? To get something that's more magenta-y. So
So
it's
more blue.
just that you really can't use, so the cad red is closer to yellow on the color wheel, right? Cad has more yellow in it. So if you mix yellow and blue, a red with too much yellow in it with blue, it's going to look more like mud or kind of green. If you want a very dramatic purple or pink, you need a red that's closer to blue, right? It's a cooler blue. Do you see that? So this one is close to yellow. This red is closer to blue. So if you're wanting the pinks that we see in this tulip, we're definitely going to need to use a cool red. Can you see that? We might need to drift little bits of it, and we might even drift a tiny bit of blue into it in places. Let's see here. So let's come back here. So let's try mixing. And then it's interesting, the shadow on this is very purple. I feel like our shadow is very purple. So we might include a touch of green in our red mix, but we'll also have, I think we'll be mixing kind of a purplish color for our shadow for the most part. So let's start. Yeah, there's a lot of blue. You can see it. You can see all the blue that's in, particularly in the shadows here. So even though I told you you mix, generally you mix red with green to create your shadow, we're going to actually try kind of mixing a purple using a little bit of the quinacridone, a little bit of blue. We'll probably use a little bit of might use a touch of green, just a little bit. Let's see how that looks. And then we're going to add a little bit of white to it. Oh, yeah. And even a little bit more blue. We've got definitely our shadow is very blue. I almost wonder if we need to add a little bit of purple, yellow in there. No. So when we mix, yeah, so to me, I see the shadow color. And I'm just going to start by mixing some of the cool red. For the warm color, I'm going to start by mixing white, a touch of white in with the red. And there we have a pink coming out. But I feel like this pink isn't exact. It might be a little too red. So I might even mix, I might see what happens if I mix a touch of, so I'm going to try two things. I'm going to mix, so I'll talk to you about all these mixes. I'm just trying it out right now, you guys, to see what works. So yeah, definitely not blue. Maybe a teeny touch of yellow.
What is the red you have? I really like that.
Quinacridone.
I don't.
Quinacridone red. That is a key color for mixing, Diana. You'll like it. It's very, in terms of getting pinks, kind of warm pinks.
I do not have it.
You will want to get it. Definitely want to get some.
Oh.
You know what? Actually, when I mix Viridian Green and Quinacridone, we get a really nice shadow color. So never mind what I said. We're going to stick with the basics. It's going to be green and red for the shadow color. I'm trying to figure out if there's any way to kind of I like the pink, the light pink, the light color. I like the pink color. I worry it's not quite the right color. Just wondering if there's a way to shift it. I wonder if I added just a touch of cadmium red, if that would do it. Oh yeah, there we go. That might help. It's not exactly that though. Oh, all right, one other thought. I might have you put, I don't have any alizarin crimson down, but I'm going to put some down to see if it can give me. Mm-hmm. I will be right back, you guys. I'm going to get some alizarin crimson. Mm-hmm. I have some alizarin here and quinacridone red. I'm mixing them together. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white and see what happens. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So if you have both, that's it. That's the color. So if you have both alizarin crimson and quinacridone red, you're going to use both of those for your pink. If you only have one, you just use one. But you'll notice here is quinacridone only. It's a little bit cooler. And here is, sorry, here is alizarin in white only, and here is quinacridone in white only. So the quinacridone in white is a little Pepto-Bismol-y, and this one is a little bit too blue. It's a little bit too dark blue, but if you mix them together, they make a kind of beautiful pink. So that's going to be, so your pink is going to be the light, the stuff that's not in the shadow is going to be, if you've got it, quin red plus al crimson plus white. And your shadow is going to be your reds. And instead of white, you're going to add green, viridian green. That's going to be your shadow. Well, you know, it occurred to me it would be kind of neat to do a painting as a, we're going to have to do a palette knife painting at some point. I want you guys getting used to the brush, but after that, we're going to do some, maybe when we get to oil. Okay. So this is the mix, and I'm sorry, there's a bunch of mixes on here. So you guys work on the mix. And then a big brush is going to be, a big flat brush is going to be important here in terms of getting your, you do not, well, I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so here are the mixes. I've written them down and kind of pointed to them. So go ahead and practice that. And then before we pull up our painting, I want you to practice. Remember, we're going to need a big brush. A big brush. Because these petals have a lot of structure. So if I try to paint them with this, I'm just not going to be able to do it, right? I'm not going to be able to paint them. I want to be able to capture the big brush nature of these, of this flower. And the only way I can do that is with a big brush. So you're going to want a big brush. Later, you could switch, for the detail work, you can switch to a smaller brush.
I kind of want to have another canvas, so just so I can, I don't want to waste the paint. So I'd like to have a canvas.
You should have another canvas. You should have a
Okay, so
canvas
that's
that's just, this is just my testing.
for strokes.
That's
For
just for
strokes, yeah.
strokes. So you should. And Paul, you can keep gessoing over it. Let me see, where's my, I'll show you. You can keep covering it up with primer. You can see this was last week's. You can see my
Right.
handwriting. You can still see it. So I am just covering them up. I just use a couple. I paint over them for my, so I have the same one I use over and over again.
Like a corner, and then you can just go over in various, in like coats, right?
Yeah. So you need to use something called gesso. That's this. It's a primer.
Oh, okay, and that goes
It's not
over the
white
paint.
It's a primer. It's like thicker than white paint. So usually it takes 2 coats to get to this. So you want to get yourself some gesso, and then with a big brush, just cover over your testing and then use it again. Yeah, I want you to be able to practice your brush marks. And Lisa and Lana, go ahead, you too. It's helpful on your paper to practice, like putting, this is a little bit of a hard edge here in places. And then in places, it's softer. So up here, it's kind of a softer edge. But down here, where the shadows are really intense, it's a harder edge. So there are both hard and soft edges in this painting. So practice, since you've got your stuff mixed here, practice laying down a couple of things. Oh, and see, mine isn't really reading as dark enough, so I need more. Yeah, there we go. Right, now I've got something that really reads dark. Dark. practice using, you're going to be using a big brush. And when you guys feel ready, you can either send me over pictures or I can just move on to doing the flower. You tell me when you're ready. The first person who's ready, I will do it. And we've got plenty of time. We've got an hour, so I'm not in a rush here.
Did you guys watch Garth Brooks?
Garth Brooks.
At the inauguration,
Yeah.
singing Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Was one of those days you had to have the TV on.
Right.
Yeah. I thought Lady Gaga was fabulous.
I heard she was pretty great.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fabulous.
I got to think of what I'm going to say about it on my podcast.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
About the-
It sounds like you should start with Garth Brooks since that's who struck you.
Yeah, I guess I can mention him. The fact that he's, Trump's out and then Biden's in, and then so it's kind of I'm not sure because it's kind of a picture we want to take here because it's like it's a weird one because it's the entire thing's weird considering the circumstances. It was a really weird event. We've gotten used to it, but if you were to look at if for like someone who's like, let's say someone who was born like next year looks back at it for 20 years, you're gonna see people wearing masks and no one's there. It's gonna be weird.
Right. All right. Everybody ready to start painting? Or watch me paint? Watch me paint. And so don't feel like you have to jump in right away until you feel like you've got this. Like you've got this. All right. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to move this up. Everything should be pretty dry. All righty. And I think in this particular case here, I'm calling my WhatsApp thread up so I have it. Oh, these are looking good, Lisa B. Looking nice. Don't be afraid, like I said, you guys, to designate one canvas sheet as a practice sheet and then just keep covering it up with gesso. So you're not wasting, you're not wasting a lot of sheets, but I think it's really helpful to have one. All right, hopefully. Okay, so my brush is clean. I'm going to start by looking at my source. So like always, because I'm obsessed with this. I like starting this way. I'm going to work with the the shadow first. So I'm taking a little bit of Quin Red. Oh, and I'm out of alizarin crimson. Let me get myself some more. Dang it. What did I just, here it is. Hang on. I'm going to put the alizarin crimson right there. Some problem with acrylic, it dries too fast. So I have a little bit of Quin Red, I have a little bit of alizarin crimson, and then I'm pulling over a little bit of viridian green to create a shadow color. I'm testing it. I could do even a little bit more green. And then I'm going to come right in and lay these darks down. Next week, I was going to talk about glazing this week, but I think we'll do that next week. We'll pick a subject that's a little bit more appropriate. There we go. It is okay that there are areas here and down here that are lighter. I'm going to come back in and add those later. It's okay to have a darker area. And I'm literally going over everything once again, kind of going over these. With my darks. And then once I've got those in, I'm going to clean my brush out. And now I'm going to go in, mix alizarin crimson and quinacridone red, and I'm going to mix white in. So I don't know if you can see this as I'm mixing. I mixed this first and I noticed it was way too dark. So instead of trying to throw in white over here, I actually grabbed a new batch of white and moved it over here. So now I'm coming in here and laying down using like the corner of my brush to fill in the light areas. Uh-huh. And everything's looking pretty stiff. So here I'm going to take some light. I'm going to load my brush with like white paint. And while this is still wet, I'm going to slowly, oops, it's not wet enough. Got to get more dark on there. Hold on. It's amazing how quick this dries. I want to soften some of these edges here. This shadow should be by kind of scrubbing in a little bit of light over the dark. So you see how I'm starting to create this shadow, this edge is pretty strong right here. This is a sharp edge, but this one is softer. So I'm brushing in a little bit of light over the top. This edge is a little bit softer, so I'm kind of softly. This edge is very strong. So here I'm reinforcing. Whoops. Right, this edge right here. Looks to me like there's a bit of pink. Oops, need it to be lighter. So there are areas, and then within here, I see some areas that are lighter and some that are darker. So once I lay this down, I can come back in at the bottom here and kind of get in some of the light areas that are here. And now I might switch from a, oh gosh, and I'm sorry, the color on this is terrible. This is not, let me take a picture so you can at least see that it's not as far as it looks right now. Hang on here. So I guess the point is, unlike the other things that we've been doing, some areas, here we go, are hard, right? Some areas have hard edges on this flower and others have soft. And I think I'm actually going to label the hard and soft areas for you. So as you're going through and laying down your colors, you can start to do that. I'm going to stop painting. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going over this whole thing. You guys go ahead and start your own painting, but I'll also send this to you. So this, let's say HE is a hard edge, SE is a soft edge. And when I say edges, I mean edges between light and dark areas. That's what we're focusing on. So. There's a lot of hard edges in here, actually. So here's your little guide to hard and soft edges. Does anybody find this easier than our other assignments? Or harder? I don't know. Here we go.
I feel like I'm so off my game today.
You've been working really hard, Diana.
Yeah, I have.
Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes that pushes you off your game. It's good actually occasionally to be off your game because it means, it tells you, I don't know, because we can't always be on our game. So it's good that you're here. You know what I mean? Doesn't that sound silly to say, but you know what I mean? There are moments where it's good to say, I'm just struggling to focus, right? Struggling. And that's so rare for you.
Terrible.
I had a hard time like painting today too. I did do stuff, but I did little things. I couldn't get myself to work on any big projects. I did these cute little watercolors, but I could not make myself work on the big oil paintings that are both on my canvas right now. It's interesting. Some days you have it in you and some days you don't. Let's see. Nice. Oh, I don't know. I think this is pretty. I would say, Diana, take a little brush. There's like a thin, your white edge is just a little too thick.
Yeah.
So take a little, take a skinny brush like this one and go over with some, and you're gonna feel, but I actually, and I love the background. It's gorgeous. It's lovely. And maybe thin out the, you can thin out the stem a little bit.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think the colors are pretty dull as well.
Right. Yeah, they are. It's hard to get a good pink. It's hard to get a pink that doesn't look like Pepto-Bismol. Not bad, Lana. I want you to let that dry. Okay, so Paul, your green, did you put red with green here in this area?
When originally, but yeah, you said it was okay, so I left it, but.
No. So there's a color that goes on top of the green. It's a red and green that goes in here. So that's what you need. And Lana, let yours dry because these areas need to be lighter. So I think what happened is I like the brushwork, Lana, but I want you to, I want to get a better contrast. So what we really need to do is darken this area more dramatically. It's really almost a 5. It really is a 5. And yours is like a 3. So let's go ahead and, Lana, mix some red with a little bit of green and go over your dark areas again to darken them. Let them dry, and then we're going to put the lights on top. It's all about contrast, right? With the flowers. It really is. It's all about, with anything. It's all about making sure hello, lady. Come on over. You gonna come say hi? Come say hi. Come on. Come on. Hi. Oh.
My girl lay down on the floor and just sleeping.
Oh. Muka is waiting to go back into the big house. Hermes just can't be in here when I'm teaching. He's too bananas. Come on. So she has to be in here and she's like, I don't want to be in here. She's used to very like, here she is though. Look at this face. Here. Can you like, look at that face?
Yeah.
Oh. She's the world's best kitty cat. There we go. Hey.
I don't think that Julia will agree on that.
Julia's like, I am the best cat.
Coco, speak. Speak. She's learning speak, so.
Is she
Speak.
is it working?
If I had a trait, it would work. But yeah. Like, where's my chicken?
Aw.
Yeah, chicken is a word my dog understands.
Oh yeah, chicken.
Watch. Oh, okay. You guys have cats, right?
Yeah.
Watch
Cat
this. Yeah, that'll get her.
Cat gets there. She goes. There she goes.
Yeah, dear. Yeah.
All right, and then when you've got your light dark contrast, now you can take a skinny brush. Wait, I don't like that skinny brush. I want the right skinny brush.
Yeah.
Here we go. You can take a skinnier brush like this one, and you can start to add, that's my girl. Oh, yeah. Hey. People, if anybody watches this video, they're going to think it's really weird. Oh, beautiful. Lisa. Lovely. Lovely. So Lisa, this is a great time. I'm going to show you the next step. I like that. Beautiful brushwork. So beautiful. You're a natural. I love your brushwork. And I like your values too. You got the values right. So now we can go over with these lighter. So see how I have this little tiny brush? And here is where I can start to add the definition of the petals. This is more of a hard edge. Oops, and I made it too big. So I'm kind of cutting it back smaller. So here is where you go in with the little brush and define the edges of the petals, mostly white, not all of them, but definitely this will start to give it a little bit more depth. So I'm mixing just more white. I might even put a touch of yellow in here just to make it a little bit warmer. I'm looking to see if that works. Oh yeah, that's nice. Make sure you follow the lines the light lines very clearly because they don't go all the way through. Definitely it's here and here. And then there's one here.
Like it's a little bit of blue in the white.
Yep, yep. And a couple, and it's sort of the more cooler areas. Absolutely. This is an important edge over here. Right? Because this is a pretty hard edge. We want to show this petal kind of curling around. Notice it's really easy. See how I just did that? I just went to, I should get some more water on my brush. I just went to heavy here. It's real easy to take with these little pointy brushes to make them your lines too thick. That is okay. You just quickly, you can just go in with the color that's next to it. So here we go. Here's a fairly thick line. It's a little too thick for what I want. So I can now go back in and mix some red and green. And then I just go back in and clean up that line. I kind of go, and I'm using the same brush, but with my dark on it now. And I'm thinning it. So it's really normal that you'll have to thin your line, these thin lines, that you don't get them exactly right in the first go. And that's totally okay. As you go through, and then we should be working on our background. So the background is, and actually I'm going to give you guys choices. I don't think you have to do the background that's here. You can if you want to, or you can just make it a solid color or something that gets sort of gradually lighter. Like if you wanted to do a blue, you could. I'll try to mix some colors for the background, but do you see how like already this flower is really starting to pop? Because I've added these very hard lines here. And in a couple places, there's a little bit of a, yeah, there we go. So this white really serves, this sort of whitey pink really serves to help sort of distinguish and strengthen the lines. This is the first painting assignment we've had where we really had significant hard lines that help structure our flower. Already it's like starting to read better. Let me go to the, you see if I have ideas here. Here, I'm going to take a picture of this so you can see it. Oops. Oh, Lisa, you sent it to, here, I'm going to send it to West Coast. This is Lisa's. I think it's looking pretty nice.
Mine is not.
Here's where mine is right now. Okay. And now is the time to start working with your backgrounds. So if you want, let me see. What's the source doing? So we've got more kind of blues and purples down here. Let's see here. I wonder. I'm going to need some more blue. So if I was trying to make these flowers down here, I'd go back to my big brush. I'd mix a little bit of blue with quinacridone red. And maybe it's kind of purpley. I'd come in and start, because these aren't, we can't see this very well. It's all very fuzzy. I'm just doing little brush marks and letting little bits of the green come through. See this? I can go over with another color later.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to do things in order. So not to go dot, 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 you know, like all like little soldiers in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't look quite right. So I'm trying to get like softer here. And then as this comes up, I'm going to drift in more pink with my purple. Yeah. And even more white. Yeah. I might even drift down. I'm kind of just generally loosely sticking with the color palette that's being presented here. But you don't have to do this. You could just totally make a plain blue background, or, you know, you can do whatever you want with your background. I feel like that's something that people can choose. This is a little bit messy right now, so I'm going to come back in later and repaint my stem so I don't have the purple coming over it. And then really, as it comes up here, we've got more yellow, and now I'm mixing, let's see, I've got red and yellow ochre and cadmium yellow and a little bit of white to create this kind of orangey color. Getting more water on my brush, squeezing it out. So notice what happens when I put this kind of darkish color back here. Oh yeah, and look at, I can kind of bring it all the way down. And then I have this kind of soft edge background that generally transitions. The problem with this color right now is that it's a little bit too dark to really showcase my flower. So I'm going to go lighter. What I can tell is I need this to be much lighter in value. So I'm using way more yellow. Ah, yeah, there we go. That's better. Uh-huh. See how I'm kind of, yeah, that looks nicer. The same thing is happening here. So now I've got lots of yellow. I'm using ochre, yellow, a touch of red, a lot of white. And notice I'm going around my painting. Now, a lot of people don't want to mess up their painting, so they avoid the edge. But the most important thing to do with your background is to go right into the edge. So one of the ways to handle that is to take your brush like this and line it up with your edge and pull back. See that? So that you're not dramatically covering up your edge. So try that again. Load your brush. Come here. Line your brush up with the edge and come back. I can see I still need more light. Where's my whites? Right, come in here. You'll get, when you get better, when you get more used to the brush, you'll be able to go fairly close to your subject and not mess it up. But if you want to practice that, do that, practice that. Load your brush with paint and come right up to the edge and pull back, right? So that you've got your background going into. The most important thing is to see how your background is going to look. Here, pull. Here, pull. Here, pull. Here, pull. See that? And then later back here where I have more room, I can kind of spread out. So you do not have to brew a background like this. You could pick a single color. If this background feels overwhelming to you, do not do it. Just pick a single color. Have fun with it. Make it your own. Once you've kind of got the flower, I give you permission to do whatever you want with your background, with the rest of your painting. Hell, I give you permission to do whatever you want with your flower. I like this. Now I've got something that kind of fades. It's not what's exactly happening in the background, but it's kind of a general transition. But more importantly, my values actually gets a little bit darker up here. Yep.
Mm. Shit.
Not happening, Diana?
No. It's not happening.
You weren't like totally in love with this subject either. So that is also true, right?
You know, I should be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think once you're grown up, it's hard to do things unless you really want to do them. I noticed I kind of lost my edge back here. So I'm looking at the flower. Yes. I'm going to darken this a little bit. And then it's more like a purple, kind of a greenish color back here. So in this particular case, what's also very interesting is your background can really showcase your flower. Well, that's always true, but it's particularly true here. So if you have a light part of the flower, like I'm trying to do here, make your background just a little bit darker so it'll pop forward. Interesting. The values look just a little bit the same.
Is that blue on the bottom? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah,
one.
it's blue and purple, but you don't have to do that. I was just sort of trying to mimic the colors that were there, but you do whatever you want to do with the background.
Okay.
And what I left off was the stem. So very quickly, the stem, I believe, is kind of like an ochre. So I'm taking yellow ochre and a little green and a touch of red to add to the stem color. And in some areas it's lighter and in some areas it's darker. Kind of here. Right, it's darker on this side. Diana, stop working on this. Do something else.
No, I'm stubborn.
And then you'll lighten the light side. Let's see.
I'm not gonna let the tulip beat me.
Not a single tulip.
Yeah.
Darn tulip. Actually, it's tricky because if your background, and then actually, this is a little bit.
And you know, I generally like tulips because they're so loose in their form.
They're actually quite structured.
Yeah, but they at the same time, you know, when you have a mixture of tulips, you have leaves.
Yes, the soft edges and the hard. Yes, they've got a nice combination. I agree
Yeah.
between soft and hard edge.
But it's nice of you to make excuses for me.
I know you. I think we know each other pretty well by this point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm absolutely thrilled with my background. I might actually even change it up completely just to show you guys what can be done. But this is kind of, and you may find that you'll need to go over with another layer of your light pink. After all is said and done, you may ultimately need another layer right on top. So don't, you may have to do 2 layers of it for it to really read as well as you'd like. Yep. Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? So I'm gonna take a picture of this now, and then I'm gonna change the background. I don't like this. I don't like what I've done with my background. I find it boring.
And you know, I find the darks, they are so dead in my painting.
Let me take a look. Here, I'm gonna take
I
a
got
picture
this
of
mustard. The ochre just added this dirty mustard color, which is,
Yeah, you don't have to use it if you don't want to.
well, I mean,
I
I
mean,
want to work with it, but
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna do a U-turn. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a teal background for my flower. Watch this, you guys. Is this gonna work? Actually, am I gonna regret this? Well, here's the nice thing about painting. If you don't like it,
paint over it.
you can just wait till it dries and paint over it. That is true about anything. Let's see what happens if I put this. I'm going to test a couple of different backgrounds next to. Aha. See that? Now that is exciting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes. So see, I'm like, I didn't like that. What's nice is there's a teeny touch of green in teal. I'm adding even a little bit more, which is kind of popping my flower
It is.
much better. So see, I'm like, I don't like my last background. I'm going to go back in with something totally different. See if I can get this. And I can even kind of fade it out into the other colors. So it's more just something that's happening. See what that does to the flower? Wow. So you do not have to stick with the background that's there. Yeah. And this also shows you how important the background is.
Yep.
And you don't have to do this. There's other things you can do that might also be nice. Maybe more of the green that we used on the base would be quite beautiful too. Oh yeah, there we go. Uh-huh, that's it, baby. Notice that I'm kind of spreading it down and blending it sort of over the top of the other colors. So it's not just a solid turquoise. Maybe that'll work. I'm doing a kind of scumbling, which is a kind of swirling motion. Over the top. I think I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Let me take a picture of this. Oh, you made it red. Nice. So Diana really pushed the colors. Notice what she did. She pushed the tulip more red, more orangey. That's also okay.
Yeah, but they've cut, you know, all the dark colors are pretty dead.
Try adding a touch of, well, that is the colors that are there. Try adding a little touch of, in fact, I lost a little bit of my shadow. Try adding a little touch of ultramarine blue in with your red and your green to blue it a little bit.
Yeah.
Try that, see what happens.
Even the dark color should have some life in them.
Oh, Lana, it's getting better. Nice. I like that your darks. Oh, Lana, I love your background. I love your background too. Ha! This might be one of my favorite paintings you've done, Lana. If you wanted to, I don't know.
Thank you.
Are you happy with it?
Thank you, Leah.
Are you happy with it?
No.
I think you should let your colors dry and then try to get, I think you're getting muddy colors and that's what you're not happy with.
Right.
So you need to mix colors. You need to clean your brush water. So clean your brush water and then mix just pink and white, right? Or red and white so that you get a clearer pink,
Okay.
right? And then try going over the light areas and I think you're going to like it. But I like the brushwork and I love the background.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with my background, actually.
What?
I'm not happy with my background.
Try this blue.
Okay.
Try a very vibrant blue.
All right.
Here, I'll send a picture of it so you can see it. Send a very vibrant blue. Try that. That might help push everything forward.
All right. Thanks.
Diana, I really love the background. The other thing, Diana, is that you could try glazing the flower blue.
Okay.
Or glazing the darks, you know, just do a slight blue glaze and then add your pinks on top. And that might give your shadows a little bit more depth.
Yeah, that might work.
Try glazing. Yeah, try glazing. That can sometimes push those shadows a little bit less dead, as you call it.
Yeah. And then just highlight afterwards.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think I might like that.
It's interesting how white, which, you know, is something that we're using because this is cool colors, how flat it can get.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any Naples yellow, but that might be also a way to add a little bit of life. I'm going to try it myself.
Woohoo. This just made it a one colored flower.
Yes, yeah. Feel free to take a cloth and scrub off in the light areas, scrub off the glaze. So it's only really hanging in the dark areas.
Yeah, but I can add the lights again.
Exactly.
I think that works better to do that.
Glazing can help.
Yeah.
Actually, what's really nice about this flower is there's room for a lot of different
Yeah.
kind of playing around. Like now there's a lot of different ways we can go with it. And I would encourage you guys to do that. I am going to try a little bit of Naples yellow and see if it'll shake things up in the right way. I'll probably just flatten everything. Nope. No. Nah, it doesn't really, well, I don't know. It's kind of pretty. Nah, I don't really like it.
I have paint everywhere.
Ha.
My painting fell
Oh,
in the paint.
oh, oh no. Oh no, no.
That's okay. I needed that distraction.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
I think I'm gonna change the color
Of the background or
of the flower.
of the flower? To what?
Red orange.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's see. Uh-huh. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere, Lisa B. So this is beautiful, the background. Notice how it's popping your flower. Now you want to pull back some of your brights, right? Can you, if you look at your flower, we've lost the light and dark values a little bit. So you want to lighten in a few areas here so that your shadows and your lights, but I love what I love your background. I love what that did.
Okay. I
And
just did
see-
a glaze, so I have to let this dry.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why it's looking a little darker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to go back in.
What did you glaze with? Blue?
I did red.
Red. Nice.
Yeah, the quinacridone.
I am gonna try. I like how that looks. I might try
And
it
I
too.
also pulled out of my old paint, I pulled my medium magenta,
Oh, now that is
Which-
actually which I don't actually have
which is
any
like
of right
perfect
now.
for this.
It's a perfect color. If you
Yeah.
had medium magenta, that would also really help. Kind of get that sort of purpley pink.
It's that purpley pink that's so hard to mix.
Mm-hmm. So now that you've said that, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try a glaze since everybody's glazing. I'm going to try a little bit of blue and quin red together. So I have a kind of light purple. And let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, I like what that does. So you'll see, guys, that with the glaze, everything went a little bit darker. But I can actually come back in here and pull out.
Did you
the
like
light.
scrub it out?
Yeah, I scrub it out because a little bit stays, but not that much. Ooh. And then you can go back over with your brights. You don't actually have to wait, Lisa, for it to dry to
I
go
can
back
just sort
over.
of pull it out.
Yeah, you can start pulling it out, and you can also go, oh, now that's looking beautiful. That's where you're starting to get your richness. So now I can go back in.
Oh, shit.
Now you can go back in, right? Whoops.
Oops. It's too much water in my paint.
Yeah, Lisa B, I can really see that the brush is a very natural tool for you.
That's funny because I feel unnatural. I actually really like to use palette knives.
You are, well, I can see that in your brushwork. I can see that
Really?
because of the kind of brushwork, but that doesn't mean you aren't really great with the brush.
Yeah.
You should feel very pleased about that. That's not, for some people, it's a lot harder. It doesn't mean everybody can't be, get better at painting. I just see for you that your mark making seems very natural in a way that I didn't see. I saw to some extent with your drawing, but I just feel like you have none of the struggle in painting, which is neat. Isn't that
Oh.
kind of nice to know?
Thank you. Well, yeah, I feel the struggle, but if you don't see
I
it,
mean, the
that's great.
struggle. I mean, I know you feel the struggle, but I can see that like you're working, you kind of know how to, there is always a struggle with paint. Absolutely.
Yes.
Some people really need me to show how to do everything, right? It's just not for everybody. It's not as natural a tool. It's not as easy to start exploring with. That's all I'm saying. For some people, it's easy. The thing about art is there's enough about it to have to be good at that you're going to be good at some things and bad at some things. Some things are going to be harder.
For sure.
Right? Some things are going to be harder. Some things are going to be easier.
I feel like everything is about the struggle these days.
Yeah, right. That is absolutely true. Everything is about the struggle. Oh, and now I'm liking the Naples yellow a bit more.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's true. It's not really worth it unless there's a struggle. That's where all the interesting.
Up.
How's everybody doing? Sorry, I'm just sitting here poking along at this thing. I should stop and take a look.
I sent you where I am currently. So
Let's see. Ooh, I love your background, Paul. So here's the thing. Now you're actually, this is pretty good. I like your darks.
I'm waiting for it to dry a little, and then I'm going to go with the thin, brightest.
With the thin brush and
yeah.
get some brights in there. Yep, actually, that's exactly right. Good job. You like it?
I'm kind of happy with it. Yeah, I'm not like ecstatic, but yeah.
Yeah, not ecstatic. That's so funny. I'm not ecstatic, but I am sort of happy. You'll like it when you get harder lines in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to show you, I glazed, guys, and then I glazed with a purple and then went back over my lights to really push my lights. And I actually like how that changed things up a bit. I honestly think, Diana, you're just a little bored with this. I was feeling so bad. I was feeling like I was giving people such hard things to do that I needed to like slow it down a little bit, but maybe I slowed it down too much.
Yeah, we're at my level now, so.
It's okay. Everything is exercise.
Everything is an exercise. That's exactly right.
I actually found an old, pretty big tulip painting I did many years ago when I was staging the house to rent it. So
Oh, yeah.
yes, I hang that.
Send us a picture of it.
Yeah, it's not here now. I'll do it when I take it back from the house. I just rented it, so they are gonna take everything down again.
Oh, so they haven't moved. She hasn't moved in yet.
No. On Saturday, they started moving in.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah. Let's hope their dog and my dog gets along.
Oh, that's always a thing, isn't
It's
it?
always a thing.
We've been out walking with them though 2 or 3 times now.
So what do you do if the dogs don't get along?
Oh, they
You
will.
just keep them on. Animals will get used to each other. It's just a matter of time, right?
But we've been walking them. They have not said hello to one another, but they've been walking side by side for a total of, I think, 2 hours now.
Yeah.
We'll continue with that a few times, and then eventually, I guess that should pay off.
Come on, lady. My cat is still looking at me. She's sitting on this. She's giving me this look here. I'm going to take a picture she's just giving me this look of when can I go? It's dark. And she's just like, when can I go home? There we go. All right, we've got about 8 minutes left. So go ahead and send your piece in, what you've got, and let's see if there's one more thing I can advise you on as you're working on it. Doesn't have to be done, but I like to see it.
Yeah, well,
It's okay, Diana.
I know, it's fine.
Let's see. Ah, nice. Eugene, very nice. Eugene, you want to add, I love the background. I like how you did all that. I want you to add more lights in. Yours is a little bit too dark. Lisa, that really is gorgeous. I like it. It's coming out. Yes, 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 yes.
Be a spot.
Oh
for them.
yeah, Diana, I see your point.
Yeah.
Actually, Diana, do you have magenta?
Yeah,
Try magenta.
I think I have magenta.
Magenta
it's-
will probably push this in the direction that you need it to go. This is beautiful, you guys. Beautiful work. I found this subject very peaceful. I know it's like annoying, maybe, and I think it bored Diana. I think we bored Diana, which is
It's
almost
okay.
impossible to do. And even as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, there's another area that needs to be fixed. There we go.
Get another color I have to buy, yeah? No, I don't have magenta.
Yeah, you'll want magenta, quinacridone magenta.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay, so you want quinacridone red and quinacridone magenta, all of them. As you were, these are gorgeous. These are really great, you guys. I don't know what we're gonna do next week. I'll think about it. I was thinking we might do like a field with grasses in it to get you used to the idea. How does that sound?
I like that.
Something landscapey, but not too complicated. Well, I'll think about it. I'll talk to Marie too. She always has good ideas in this sort of thing. These are beautiful, really, really beautiful. All right, so I'm going to pull down, I'm going to stop the recording.